790 Adventure KTM. If it's on your street or something you want to see, stick around. See you later. Well, welcome back to the channel. Good to see yous. Right, today I'm getting a demo test ride on a KTM Adventure 790. So here goes. Never been on one. I'm told they're a bit of a hooligan bike, so I thought I was left them days long time ago. So here we go again. Gonna have a go down Philip McCallens here in Lisburn. So let's get a wee ride. Good evening and welcome back to my channel. This week I took myself out on a KTM 790 adventure bike. Didn't really know what I was expecting. Have heard people saying that it was a bit of a mad bike, but I should definitely give it a go. So decided that's exactly what I was going to do this week. And so this video is about my test ride, not a review on the bike. And what I find that I did like about it. First off was the riding position. It was great, and at no point during the ride did I want to get off and stretch my legs like I did with a lot of other bikes. I think it's maybe an age thing. Now saying that, getting on and off was a breeze. I'm only 5'8", bald, and fat, so it was absolutely no problem for me. So that was definitely a plus point for me. I was able to throw the leg on and off without any difficulty at all. And whenever I stopped, my feet were well planted. I wasn't flat-footed, but they were definitely well planted. I felt safe that there was at no point did the bike feel heavy in any way. Now, how was the ride? Well, lots of people have told me how aggressive these bikes are. Maybe so for the 1290, but this 790 was great. So I was a bit apprehensive at first, but as soon as I rode it, that all faded away on the ride, and it was very enjoyable. Acceleration was fantastic. Each of the 6 gears up and down was easy to go into, and from second to third, this for me was where the power kicked in. But it was not sharp or jerky, nor did it make me feel like a rebel without a cause, but more smooth and concise. Turn the ride-by-wire throttle, and you did get the power where you expected it to be, and at no point did it feel like it was going to lift the front wheel or throw me off. The engine sound, well, engine sound for a lot of people are what makes them buy a bike. Sound of the engine was a great sound, and it makes it obviously makes a nice growl. I was well impressed with the bike and the sound of it. When I first took it out, the gear change, the blipper, the gear change on it was by far the best on any bike that I have ridden. First gear up to 6 and even all the way back down. I can actually remember myself saying that it was really nice, and jeepers, this is really smooth. It would put your mind off all bikes are analog and this is like digital. Absolutely fantastic. It was a real joy. You actually felt yourself going up and down the gears because you only had to touch it and away it went, but it was so smooth. There is bash plates on, but obviously it's an adventure bike, so you would expect it. So there are bash plates that come with this bike, which it's a good all-terrain bike, and obviously the exhaust is good and high, so you're not going to be getting any water or whatnot into it. The engine is powerful. My day out on this bike was truly fantastic, and at the end of the day came, I actually was a wee bit sad bringing it back. The foot pegs are set to allow for standing posture if you are going off-roading, as well as they are comfortable. You are upright seated, rider position. I personally loved it. Never trying to stretch my legs out during the ride. So it really is comfortable. It's a good seat, and there was no complaints whatsoever. What I did also was impressed with the bike that this model came with a 5-inch TFT coloured screen. I'm not sure if that's the same throughout the range, but it was pleasant to see, and it was nice coming from the bike that I normally ride every day. It was good to see it. One thing that I did find with it, that just above the TFT screen there was a mount, and I wasn't sure if it was, when I fiddled about with it for a bit, I think if I had read it, it would have told me what it was, but I decided to fiddle before I read. And it must come with a GPS mount, or you can just plug your unit straight into it. You just above the TFT screen, you lift up this little catch, and then you can mount your GPS unit into it. Now, I didn't go any further. Obviously, I didn't have a unit with me, didn't lift it. Just once I read the bit in front of it, that was enough to tell me that that's what that was for. So that's actually quite nice and neat coming from the KTM crowd, that it's just something you can add in without trying to fiddle around with getting extra things to fit your bike. The fuel tank is absolutely fantastic. It gives a good 250 mile range. So obviously good for an adventure bike, but my chances of doing adventure riding are probably very slim. So everything I do is road. I love the shape of an adventure bike, but I'm certainly not going to try it with a big heavy bike. This bike was nice and light, and very flickable. You would have had no problem taking this off-road and putting it through its paces if you were in that sort of mindset. Another thing that I did find was the mud guards were set very high. Now, I was out on a very dirty day. It was wet, it was very overcast and very murky, so I was getting lots of dirt being kicked up around me, and I noticed that all my gear was very dirty by the end of the day. So I don't think the mud guards were set for they're really set for like what a sports bike would be. The lighting, rear lighting and front lighting is all LED, so you get your maximum visibility. The tail light was tucked in at the back, which I noticed that actually would be a nice thing, that you wouldn't be dropping something off the back, and it would, if the bike fell over, it probably wouldn't get damaged. So that was quite nice. Although it was small, it was very bright. So having LED lights at the front was fantastic. And I think there's not the lighting system on it. As it gets dark, the lights then automatically come on, so you have the likes of your DRLs, and then you have your headlight, and then on your button on your right hand side, same as, or your left hand side, same as other bikes, you have your main beam. Now, the bike had blackout rims with polished spokes on it. They are a 21-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear wheel. Now, a lot of people would say the 21-inch wheel could be a bit wobbly while it was on the road, but at no point did I think that a 21-inch wheel was very shaky. If anything, you were very planted on the bike, very planted on the road, and it went where you wanted it to go. There was absolutely no difference whatsoever. So I don't know why other people found that the bike did make a difference, but it definitely didn't with me. Now, I wasn't pushing it to the limit. I was just out having a leisurely drive, enjoying it, doing what you would normally do on a bike. So I mean, I did love it. And when it did stop, I noticed that the front brakes on it, it's a dual disc system that's on it, and they're 320mm. It's a 4-piston caliper, and on the rear it's 216mm with a 2-piston floating caliper. It is, of course, a parallel twin. The power on the bike is 95 horsepower, which is about 70 kilowatts, and your transmission, as I said, was a 6-speed. It's liquid cooled, and I suppose that one of the final things is that their top speed, I think, is in around 130, and if you were sitting at 130 this here, you would be absolutely mental. So hopefully that gives you my little insight into what I thought I liked about the KTM 790 Adventure. It's definitely a bike. If I didn't already have an adventure bike, it's certainly one that I would definitely consider buying. So thank you very much for watching the video, and if you liked it, subscribe, and don't forget to like it and share. Thank you very much.